Hello and welcome to Soups and Sabers. My name is Jordan. With me today is Chris. All right, take Chris.
I'm doing okay. I haven't done this in a while. Feel like a bit of a stranger. Uh,
Oh, nice. Um, yes, we are talking Stranger Things Part 1 of Season 5, the first 4 episodes, um, which takes place in 1987, 18 months after the end of Season 4. And I did not complete my rewatch. But I did not even start my rewatch before the season, like I probably should have. I was kind of torn in this halfway thing where like my wife and I are like watch stuff together, especially like
mhm.
stuff like that, like Stranger Things. Um, I think I'd watched season 1 by myself, and then when season 2 was going on, she wanted to watch, and I had to go back and watch season 1 and 2 with her. But with the kiddo, we do not get a lot of time to watch stuff. We get like maybe an hour or two a night to watch something. And at that time, we were watching shows that were actually airing at the time. So we did not get around to rewatching Stranger Things. I'm probably going to do it on my own, um, whenever I have time before maybe Christmas for this, new drop of episodes, just to make sure that I do have um, a better foundation going into the final stretch of episodes here. But I guess let's just talk overall. I have notes here, but
Mhm.
like you know, overall for chapters 1 through 4 of this part 1, what was your thoughts on Stranger Things 5?
I think they really did a good job of recapturing the magic of the show. I think it was such a long wait in between seasons. In fact, the age gaps between the actors and their ages are getting very weird. But they did a really good job not giving you too much exposition, not getting you lost in all of that. And I thought they did a really good job of making us care about all the characters, or at least reminding us why we cared in the first place. So I thought it was a really good start to the thing. I think the openings of these episodes, at least three of these openings, were some of the best openings the series has had. It is just absolutely incredible. And I thought the action and intensity of the last scene we got was about as holy crap moment of a TV show that I can remember. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I will say I do think there are some when you talk about the exposition. I do think there is a couple times in here where it kind of feels like a little bit of a dump. Mainly the Max conversation with Holly in I guess episode 4. Um, but overall, really enjoyed the episodes. I think they kind of get stronger as each episode goes. Episode 1 kind of took me a little bit to get into because I think of that not having that rewatch. And kind of trying to catch up with where we are now and how it like I watched the Netflix released an official recap of season 4 before they dropped season 5, and I watched that. So I had actually forgotten before that. I saw people saying they walk back the cliffhanger. I forgot that we ended with that cliffhanger of like the all the cracks in Hawkins and like the upside down coming into the real world there. Um, so that kind of had to kind of get me back in the groove a little bit. But I feel like by episode 2, or maybe by the end of episode 1, that it's I'm feeling back into it. Everything's going, um, the way it's supposed to be here. And then episode 2 starts with that fight in the
Hmm.
Wheeler house, which was great. So okay, another complaint I'll have here is the maybe the opening in 1983.
Hmm.
It opens with a flashback to season 1, showing Will running from the Demogorgon in the Upside Down. This takes place between episodes 7 and 8. I thought the de-aging was a little rough there. And I'm not sure if we really... Look, maybe this will come back around. I don't know if we needed that scene, honestly, because from what I remember of season 1, we do know he eventually gets captured and he's in the wall and they rescue him and stuff. So I guess I'm not sure why we needed to see that it was Vecna who had them catch him, because it just...
I think they're setting up the connection between Vecna and Will, and I think they're trying to reestablish that now because it's story dependent. Like I think they were thinking that episode 4 would not hit as hard if they didn't have that in the beginning, because it has been a show that's gone on for 10 years, and most people, well, we're splitting hairs there, Jordan. It's been almost a decade. Okay, almost a decade to be exact. And I don't think a lot of people did the rewatch. I know I didn't. I didn't have time for it.
Right.
So, like, I feel like each season, I remember key things from, and there's a lot of fuzzy in between. So I can't wait to watch this series as a whole once it's done. But, yeah, I think it was an important scene. I would push back on that a little bit. I also thought it was awesome.
I didn't really like that scene. I guess I was just kind of like, we know he's not going to escape. They're doing all this stuff where he's climbing a tree, he's running away. I'm like, okay, like it felt like they needed an action set piece, and they just kind of put it in there because I guess where I think it's going with this, obviously, is that we see him get like attached to the hose. I don't know what you want to call it, the little thing where that they later
stipend?
they later are putting on Holly and the rest of the kids that he takes into the Upside Down. So
yeah, it's gross.
So obviously there is some sort of method that he is that Vecna is doing here to try to get that.
And Vecna brings that back up in episode 4. You were the first. You were so easy to break. You showed me what was possible. So you showed me what's possible. Like I feel like you needed a little bit of the go back in time thing there. I really do, especially because multiple times during the first 4 episodes, they literally say it is so close to that time that it happened. November 6th. Like they keep going back to this, and I think they needed to do that for the viewer. I think the average viewer needed
that. Right after that, we pick up with Robin at the radio station, and she is kind of telling the viewers what happened in those 18 months. You know, Hawkins gets quarantined. It's under control of the military. And we kind of have a new normal here where Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Robin are working at the radio station. Murray is a smuggler under a fake name, coming in and giving them items that they need for their crawls. And, you know, the boys are back at school. Holly is now like 10 years old, which I think is one of the first retcons we're really having to deal with.
She was 7, if I'm correct. I thought last time we saw Holly, she was 7.
So like last year, so 18 months ago.
Yeah,
she was 7,
and now she's, I think, 10 or 11.
Maybe that's she. Yeah, I think they say she's 10. I think somebody said I was listening to something today where they said that she's supposed to be 10.
Okay,
which would be like 5th grade, right? That'd be like
She's
still in elementary school, right? Or
right? No, it works. It works that she's a little kid. It's just she's not as little as like she's not preschool age anymore. She's like what would it be? 1st or 2nd grade?
10 years would be like 5th grade.
Yeah, you're right. You know, you would. This is why I do secondary education and not elementary.
Yeah, you're the teacher. What are you talking about?
Right, dude. I do secondary education. I do middle school and high school.
Well, let's see. Do they say how old she is on any of these season 1? Because then you just add a couple years. But
if you did this for every age in the show, it would get incredibly confusing.
What do you mean?
with the actor's age and the age they're supposed to be is getting incredibly hard to tell.
I actually think it's like I've guessed these kids are like 15 at this point, 15 or 16, right? Like that's kind of my guess. Because there is those people that complain about like, oh, they look so old. I'm like, look, we used to have like John Travolta play a high schooler in Greece. Okay, like
True.
that's happened. I think I also read somewhere that like the people playing the kids now, you know, our main kids are like the same age that like Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve's actors were during season 1. So for me, I think it's a little blown out of proportion when people say like they look like super old. Because I mean, if you look at a yearbook from the 80s, I mean, some of those people look old then. So I don't really have a problem with that the way some people do. Like kids these days look way younger
They do.
than they did.
You're not kidding.
So
I look at some of my 8th graders and I'm just like, they're so small and like just
yeah,
like
you probably think they're like 5th graders.
So yeah, some of the, well, the 6th graders don't even look like they should be in middle school yet. You're like, what?
Right,
But
right.
yeah.
But yeah, so we have the regardless, Holly is aged up. Not the only retcons we're going to be dealing with throughout this because of the play. The stage play apparently has a lot of retcons in it as well. Dustin is wearing the Hellfire shirt in honor of Eddie. He's getting bullied for it. People in Hawkins obviously still think Eddie, I guess, was involved with Chrissy's death. So seems to make sense on why they're still upset about it. Lucas has to come in and stop the jock from messing with him. Lucas used to be on the basketball team with him, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
The gang are using the radio station to spread information to each other about the crawl. You know, Hopper and 11 and Joyce are training 11. The kids are in the school, and Robin uses a song, Upside Down by
yeah, it is stuck in
Rouse.
my head. It's also stuck on my FYP page on TikTok. It's just it's taken over. It's like every 5 seconds, upside down.
It's a really good song for the show.
It is.
I mean, like
it is
great.
one of the better songs they've used. But I really love everything that they do with the radio station. It was awesome to see Rockin' Robin. She's like hilarious, and I like that her and Dustin are both like, yeah, she was preteen compliance. It was and Steve didn't get it, and I think it's cool because you kind of see the wit level between the two different characters. Like Steve isn't as smart, and like Robin and Dustin are like really smart.
Mhm.
So like it's natural with their characters. But I thought it was hilarious, and I love the sound effects and the old like Gatorade bottle. It's just there was so much to enjoy. And then you got the competition to climb the ladder, the radio station, radio tower. And it's like, I love what Robin said. She's like, what is it about your presence that brings out their inner Neanderthal? And I was just like, yeah, we're men. We're stupid. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I loved everything about the radio station.
Yeah, so they get news from Murray about when they're going to open up the gate, which then they spread to the rest of the crew through the song and the fun facts that lets them understand like what cell they're in, like G10 or whatever, right? They're able to figure all that stuff out from the codes that they've figured out in the last 18 months. What I really liked about this is that I think this is the first time in the show's run that the main characters have been starting out very proactive this season and hunting Vecna down, right? Like we usually get a new normal in the first few seasons that then like they think everything's fine and then something starts to like go wrong and they're pulled back in. They know Vecna's still out there, so they're going to look for him. They're not just sitting waiting for him to pop back up. They're actively hunting him down, which I liked.
And they're their best selves. I think like you look at Mike being kind of the leader of the kids group, actually doing it this year. Like he's doing a really good job. He's being a good bigger brother.
Yeah.
The Holly, like the whole Holly heroic thing, which we'll get into, but I think he is just like awesome. And then, you know, everybody is like really diligent. Like they all have purpose. I think the only one who's lost is Dustin because he still can't get over his mourning for Eddie. But I feel like all of them, because they have purpose and a job in this, are kind of their
Mhm.
best self. And you know, poor Mr. Wheeler doesn't get any bacon, but things are moving in that house, man. They're all doing what they think they need to be doing, and there's something awesome to be said about that starting the season.
Yeah, yeah, we didn't even talk about that, but Joyce, Jonathan,
Yeah.
uh, I guess 11, right? They're all.
Well,
Um,
11's with Hop.
but is she living with him? Because
Yeah.
they go through the tunnels a lot, so they're using the tunnels from season 2, which is a nice touch too to get around places.
The
But like,
only thing I don't get is how Hop is and 11 have hid from the whole military thing, because you would think quarantined they would have every inch of that thing scanned and like covered.
well, it's
Like
the '80s too, so it's not as
it,
high tech. So like,
it's
they
not
can't.
as high tech, but it's still the military. Like you would think they'd have a helicopter have gone over that cabin. Uh, but
I guess, but they could also just escape through the tunnel, right? So like,
yeah,
they don't. I don't know. That didn't really bother me.
I was
Um,
thinking how hard it would be nowadays because Hopper's like, "What if you were on camera?" And I was like, "Well, nowadays it would
cameras
be
everywhere.
impossible. Like you couldn't even have a cell phone. You know?
Everybody has a Ring camera. Everybody
Yeah,
has, cell phone
yeah.
cameras.
There's a camera. There'd be drones everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Dashboard cams.
yeah.
Like
True.
yeah.
Will gets a vision of spinning, which we'll later learn is from Holly's point of view. Um, Dustin goes to Eddie's grave and gets beat up by the jock, so he will miss the crawl. And then we have the crawl begin. Hopper is able to get in the truck and flip into the upside down, but then is attacked by a Demogorgon, is that whole convoy. And Jonathan fills in for Dustin because he's gone. So you get Steve and Jonathan kind of having a, like you said, uh, uh, macho off. I don't know what like they're all trying to
I believe that's what we call a dick measuring competition.
yes, there you go. That's probably a better way to say it. And then Will sees through the demo Gorgon's eyes and sees that they're heading to the Wheeler residence. That's kind of where we end chapter
Mhm.
1, which we get chapter 2, the vanishing of ... is how it's presented. And then we learn it's Holly Wheeler. This was, yes, this is where you get the Demogorgon attacking, injuring Ted and Karen. I thought I thought Ted was dead. Okay.
Yeah, I don't actually understand why they're alive. I I wish that one of them had died. It would have. I feel like Karen, uh, story wise, they needed to know about the pocket watch and Mister What's It a
Yeah.
little bit. Okay, fine. But I don't understand why they're both alive. It's just the most unrealistic part of this whole thing.
Oh yeah, Ted got like shredded in the chest, and I was like, he's gone.
Like
Okay,
he
he's
looked
gone.
dead. Like there was like no one's coming back from that. I mean, this guy's a badass. What can I
Well, have you
say?
seen the doctor? Apparently, he just knows how to fix them. He got it. He knows what
You
he's
know,
doing.
but like Nancy, I have a hard time trusting a doctor who
Who
smokes and
smokes?
calls her sweetheart.
So yeah, no, I do think. Look, there's a lot of people out there, and we were talking about it in our chat, right? Of like who we think is going to die this season and everything. I can't see. I have a hard time seeing really any of these major characters dying, and there's this scene kind of illuminates that for me because in like Game of Thrones, Ted and Karen are dead,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, it's like if there's a shield for the Ted and Karens, like there's
Yeah,
a shield
I
for
mean the characters that have died are what? Barb, Bob, and
yeah,
Eddie.
Eddie.
Chrissy, and they were
Yeah.
created for the purpose of dying in those seasons. Like
Hmm.
they weren't ever really like I never Billy, like none of those characters did we ever really think. I think that like, oh, they are gonna stick around. Like,
Look, if they were going to kill the main characters willy nilly, Max would be dead.
right. And I have some thoughts on this. So
Okay.
I don't actually care. I don't think you need the deaths for it to actually mean anything. In my opinion, the way that this is going is as if this show is structured like an 80s movie in the sense of like nobody in the Goonies bites it, but there's still stakes and there's still, but all the characters end up happy at the end, right? That's what I picture this show is going to be. Like, if somebody dies this season, I would assume maybe somebody like Hopper or 11 with the sacrifice. But even then, I think it's a stretch. I think like maybe Derek Turnbow is going to be the guy that bites it in this. Like,
Well, he is the new character. New
exactly.
characters are the ones who die. But
That's why I'm skeptical of it.
look, if you kill Derek Turnbow, like I think the Duffer Brothers, if Derek Turnbow does bite it, I think the Duffer Brothers are going. I did not think he was going to be this popular.
Yeah, because he is.
I mean, he's not dipshit Derek. He's delightful Derek.
Yeah. I mean, it's maybe Jonathan and with the ring, like then she ends up with Steve anyway. Like, what I'm saying is I can't see like Will, Mike, Lucas, Dustin, Steve, Nancy dying. I just can't see any of those people dying at all. And then I would say even more so, if they're not going to kill Ted and Karen Wheeler, I have a hard time believing they're going to kill Joyce or that they're going to kill any of the parents.
I could see. So there's this cast has tiers. They have the kids, the teens, and the adults. And now they're teens, older teens, and adults. But I could see Jonathan or Steve dying. One of those dying as a sacrifice play. I could see them maybe filling the arc there, but that's about it. Robin better not die. There's actually like I think every fan has a list of the people that like if they die we riot. And for me, if Robin dies, uh, if Mike dies, if Hopper dies, I'd have a hard time, man. Like they're just, if Dustin dies, I'm gonna lose it. But
And
I
just
think we're
can't.
safe. I agree with you. I agree with you with what you're saying. I don't think they're safe in the sake that they're not going to kill somebody off. I do think there is going to be some story built protection.
Yeah. I just like I just try to like equate it to those like I don't know, feel good 80s adventure things that like the kids usually survive those and like
And it is also the ending, and
it
you
is
want to have a happy ending. Like the death in this kind of a television show, death is used as a motivator or a continuation of another character's arc. If
right,
there's
like
nothing to
Dustin with Eddie.
continue, right, exactly. If there's nothing to continue, there's like absolutely no reason to kill somebody. Like Barb, like didn't have a purpose until just now. And Nancy's like, "Oh yeah, you forgot about Barb," like like burn. But yeah, that was. I don't see a huge death happening, but we'll see.
Okay, so yeah, so at that point I thought Ted was dead.
He should have been dead.
I
And
thought
thank you
Karen
for
was
finding
dead.
where we were. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
we got lost in that tangent, but that's what we do.
11 and Nancy arrive, and 11 follows the demo into the Upside Down. She's going to run into Hopper later. They continue on. They're going to run into a wall, literally. And then Jonathan and Steven Steven. Jonathan and Steve continue to argue over Nancy. Dustin finally shows up and he's all beat up. Mike and Nancy try to get to the bottom of Mr. What's-It. Karen reveals his first name is Henry. I've seen some that I agree with. I think that this reveal kind of falls flat because at first I thought it would obviously be Vecna, and then they were building it up, and I'm like, maybe it's not Vecna, and then it was Vecna, and I was like, okay. Like, I kind of thought it was Vecna right off the bat.
Right.
So this reveal, like, as soon as she starts drawing that letter H, you're like, okay, yeah, it's Henry.
Yeah, it was like suspense for nothing. It was like a useless ellipses. But I would say that I didn't really expect a surprise in that kind of part of the story. Like, I feel like we know who the bad guy is at this point, and it's really like, I think one of the frustrating things about this is we were kind of behind, like we were the characters were behind. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yep, we knew more than they did, and it was frustrating sometimes because it was like, oh my god, just get to it. But
I think it would have been a really cool twist if Mr. What's-It, who was talking to Holly, was actually a good guy trying to help her, that we learn like of another force of good in here instead of it just being another Vecna personality.
The only thing that I could see is maybe there is a separation between
the two,
Henry in the dream world and Vecna, and that would
like
be an interesting twist.
That he's like,
I don't know that that's what they're doing.
That he's like the little boy
Henry,
like the pure Henry or something.
You know, and it would almost make sense that like he was doing a good thing, and that's. But then it kind of falls apart because like
he's gathering all the kids,
right, and he's chasing Max with his Vecna arms, so it's like it falls apart.
Plus, if there's like this internal struggle between them,
maybe it is something that I got down the rabbit hole of. It's just something I have not bought yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're setting something up there with Henry and Vecna, though. There has to be a story other than the fact that I think there has to be something more about the kids than it was just so easy to shape Will back in the day.
Yeah, like why is he going after 9 to 12-year-olds? Because I mean, that's look.
I feel like there's got to be something. I feel like there's got to be something else to that.
Yeah,
I want
he might be showing up on a certain list if he's
look.
He's not a certain reason.
He's definitely a red dot on that map.
Yes.
Oh God.
Lucas is with Max. He's playing the song, hoping she wakes up. This scene kind of comes back around, and I'll ask a question about that to you when we get there, I guess. But meanwhile, Robin gets the idea to have Will track Holly through the hive mind because he's attached to it. Like if they get him close to where he felt it before.
Was this your favorite? Was this your favorite because of the Back to the Future stuff?
No, this wasn't my favorite, but I do like that. That's what. But I just want to say, Joyce, what the hell are you doing? You haven't seen Back to the Future?
Well, look, she's been busy watching Will.
But the guys have seen it
every 5 seconds.
They know what's going on.
Look, Will can't get away from that woman. I thought it was actually really interesting. But
okay, so season 3 was 85 because it was playing then in season 3. I remember that vividly.
I just figured it was yours because you're such a Back to the Future guy. I think I said something to the group message. Oh, I know what Jordan's favorite part was.
Oh.
Once I heard flux capacitor.
Yeah, I liked it.
Did we get a DeLorean reference too? Or am I just imagining that?
I don't think so. I think we kind of get an 88 miles an hour reference when they're doing the DBs.
That's what it is. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yep.
But then he has a vision through Derek's eyes at the end, and now we know who the next target is next episode, which is called the Turnbow Trap. I was really wondering what this title meant because, and at the beginning of this episode, it's actually Hopper and 11, I think, fighting at the with the military or like getting noticed by the military, and there is a reality sign for Turnbow, and I thought, oh, maybe like the trap is how they're the Sonic machine that hurts 11 because they're at this Turnbow sign that's
I
going to
see
be called
what
the
you're
Turnbow
saying.
trap, right?
I didn't connect those dots at all. Just to let you know.
But then later we learned Derek Turnbow is
Right.
his last name, and I'm like,
It's
okay,
delightful.
so yeah.
He's delightful, Derek.
And he, he's gonna, we're gonna have a really great scene. And again, like I said, it builds each episode. I think episode 3 is really fun with Erica entering the fray here. And
I think episode 3 has the weakest of the openers, but might be the strongest episode.
It may be. You have Hopper and 11 fighting off the military. They capture Akers, the lieutenant. I forget what episode it is too, but we learned that Dr. K's base is in the upside down, not in the right side up.
I think that kind of gets slowly like played throughout the 4.
I don't know. I thought it was in an earlier episode. They like zoom out and then you see it's in there.
Right.
But maybe that is 4. I don't
think
know.
It was. No, what I'm saying is I think they showed that it was, and then we actually like were in it in episode 4.
Oh yeah. Will and Nancy and Mike reveal that Will has the link and that they know Derek is the next victim. He saw like the backpack of the kid in front of Derek, so he knew he was Derek at that point. And there was an original plan they were going to go with. I forget what that plan was. It was not great, and Mike says as much and comes up with a better plan.
And then he's like, "Any holes?" And I'm like, "I mean, I'm sure there are, but nobody has them right now." So
it sounded a lot better. His plan sounded a lot better. And one thing,
it was a lot more concrete.
I think Mike has grown. He's always been my favorite because I think of that dynamic in season 1. Him and 11 and him like just being the kind of the leader of the group. I kind of felt like he was the main character, and he kind of gets sidelined a bit later on.
Yeah.
And I like he kind of went through a little bit of an angsty phase. I think he's coming out of that. Like you said, he has a really nice talk with Holly, and
he's more mature. He's less rash. Like
he has everything he wants. 11's there with him. Like there's nothing he's like.
He's got 3 waterfalls to think of,
Yeah.
That was a nice little touch. And then you had people on the internet like trying to figure out where there were 3 waterfalls.
Yeah.
But that's kind of nice.
His plan is that they're going to drug the Turnbows. Then they're going to remove all the family out. They're going to put bags on their heads so that way Vecna can't look through Derek's eyes and see where he is. They're going to take them to a barn, and they're going to like Home Alone the house, right? Before Home Alone's them. They're going to go ahead and just kind of make this the whole thing.
It's my house, and I'm going to protect it.
I cannot wait to see what the Turnbows' reaction is when they get back to that house.
So I cannot. They're gonna, especially with all the wine that looked expensive.
That's cracked. There's a huge hole in the middle of the floor,
dude. I don't think they're going to be very grateful, but I will say
they can afford it.
Yeah, they're definitely rich. I will say this: when Steve picks up the chainsaw, I was like, Vigilante's gonna be so pissed.
Yes, I did think of that too, with the gorilla.
I was like, I'm thinking about the 11th Street kids. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. Actually.
I can't see a chainsaw on a TV show now and not think of Adrian, but a little peacemaker tidbit for you.
It starts to work. Plan starts to work. Even Nancy is able to shoot the tracker in, which is part of the plan, which I like. But Derek wakes up, has the bag off of his head, slipped off, and it reveals to Vecna and the Demogorgon where he is, and the Demo starts to hunt them down. Meanwhile, Holly is in the Creel house, in the dream world, or whatever we want to call it.
Having a great time, baking, dancing.
Yeah.
Getting Boy Scout scarves, she's happy as heck.
She gets a message in the mailbox to run into the woods, where she runs into Max. End of the episode.
Yeah, that's a good
How'd that
ending.
work for you with the Max reveal? Because I was kind of wondering who it could be at first, and then I'm like, oh,
Right.
it's Max. And then I was trying to figure out how that works. Because I did think originally Holly was just in the Upside Down, and that this was like maybe
Okay.
like I guess I kind of thought that maybe Henry is almost like using some sort of projection on what this looks like to her.
Yeah.
But then we
I
learn, obviously,
right.
it's not that.
Yeah, it's the memories and all that stuff. But his little prison. But I really liked the Max reveal. I was a little thrown off by like how much different her hair was like to like the hospital bed, but like that makes sense. But like I apparently they had to wig it because they were going back and forth between that scene and that scene, and it was like
Oh, wow.
so I heard that they had to do that. But this is to another podcast. But I would say that Max's story made sense. I'm a little frustrated that we don't really have a reason the cave scares him. Apparently, that's something apparently
It's
with the
from the play.
play,
Yes.
right? And that annoys me a little bit. Like it's like this setup the thing without setup. But um, yeah, that's my only complaints with this. Like I had very few complaints. That's one of them. But it makes sense. I like I like that Max found a safe haven and he's kind of being strategic about leaving it. I felt a little bad that she didn't run to Lucas. And I know we were going to get there.
Yeah,
Eventually.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's listening to a song called what? Running Up the Hill. She should have
Yeah.
ran. She should have ran.
Right. Well, I
Um,
did my favorite line of the whole thing was who's Kate Bush? Is that a friend of yours? You
yes.
could say that. You could say that. I
Uh,
love that line. I thought that was really well written. I was a fan of it. I think she was shocked. I think she was surprised, and I just don't understand why she didn't start running sooner. But
I guess so. This is my question about that whole scene. Okay.
mhm,
So one, I think this might be the weakest part of the whole season for me is the Max stuff because
okay.
I feel like she's just so sidelined right now. She's so separated, so sidelined, and they
I
use her just to
yeah.
exposition dump about what this place is, and
Mhm.
it's like it's giving Sadie Sink a lot of stuff that is kind of clunky for her to deliver. Not really doing her a lot of favors with that. But what I so here's my question: that scene where she sees Lucas listening to the song, it does that same pan out to the EKG machine or the heart monitor, right?
Mhm.
That it did in the scene from last episode or 2 episodes ago when Lucas is there visiting, playing the song. That's only been a couple hours ago. So is time different in this dream world? Because, or is that a different time she's seeing Lucas do that and it just did that
Well,
same camera movement to the heart monitor?
to me, this was Max has been there for a while, and this was a memory. So I think Lucas has played that song and asked her to come back before that moment.
Yeah, I
Like
think
I
he
don't
is, but
right.
it's just the way that it was, it shows the bed and then cuts
Mhm.
like slides over to the heart monitor.
Right.
They
So
did
it's
it the
making you
same
feel
way.
yeah, it's making you feel like it's the
Same
same
scene.
moment. I
And
I I didn't take it that way though because I had a feeling that was like a daily occurrence.
yeah, I'm sure he's doing it every day. It's
Mhm.
just I guess in my yeah, something in my brain is making me think that it's a callback to the earlier scene
Mhm.
because she even like it does a little bit of a higher heart rate, which to me makes me think that she was there that time, but she's not.
That's
She's
an
she's
interesting idea.
so
That's an
like
interesting idea.
in my opinion now, I'm thinking that because she said she was there a while and then
Mhm.
saw Lucas doing this and was like, oh my God, after all this time, he's still doing this.
So maybe
So,
that was the catalyst for her whole plan. And then
I mean,
when
because
Holly
how long has
came,
Holly been gone? Less than a day or a day?
yeah,
And
it's
Max
fast.
already found her, put stuff in the mailbox
Mhm.
for her, and met up with her. So like, I feel like the dream world is in a little bit of a time crunch where things are happening a little faster, I think.
So is it kind of like the difference between space time and like Earth time?
Yeah, I mean, oh, maybe you can even kind of connect this to the wormhole thing that the
Uh-huh.
teacher was talking about, where maybe like,
Well,
here's the two sides of the thing,
right.
and then in the middle would be like probably time moving at a little bit of a different clip than the
That
outside.
wormhole diagram and the thing that Will drew from his memories of Vecna
Yeah, yeah.
was very similar. Very similar. And then you had Dustin figuring out the wall of tentacly, whatever we're calling that wall, was a circle. And the lab was the center of it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think look,
good
here's
stuff.
something that I've been thinking about. You mean to tell me they never thought to look at the lab? Because I feel like that's the place I would look for. Because like
Right.
they should know Henry worked there because 11 knows that.
Right.
Um, that's the place where everything started. I feel like I would have looked there for that's probably his hiding spot. Like I just feel like that would be probably a pretty gimme. Like I feel like I would have looked there at some point.
Yeah. I don't know how many good hiding spots there are in the Upside Down.
Right, and
Um,
the lab is way underneath. Like
yeah.
I feel like it's a good hiding spot,
I kind of
better
feel
than like a
like,
house.
yeah. Or maybe Vector's trying to do the Osama bin Laden thing of like, if I'm in plain sight and easy to find, no one will find me.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm assuming with the, what you're talking about is Dustin figures out the wall is a
Yeah,
circle.
is
In the
as a
center of it is the lab. That makes me think
mhm.
that's where Vecna is.
Right.
And I guess
Or there's
anything.
something that Vecna needs there. It might not be where
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is, but it might be where Holly is.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like all those
Yeah,
kids are probably going to be there. Because isn't that where they found Will? Or did they find him in the school back in season
they
one?
found him in the school. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
I think,
Although I have to rewatch, but I'm pretty sure they found him in the school.
yeah, you might be right. Um,
I
I'm
might
gonna
be
see if I
wrong,
can do a
but I might be right.
little bit of research here if I can find that. They find him in the Hawkins library.
Really?
Yeah, according to this, that could be the school library or just a regular library, but according to Wikipedia, he was found in the
Well, that's
school
why I
Hawkins
thought it was a
library.
school then.
Yeah, that's
But
probably why.
yeah.
Um, okay, so then we get okay. Do you want to know some of the play stuff? Because I've heard some stuff. If we want to talk about
I want to know. I want to know. So I've heard some stuff, and I'm annoyed that I'm hearing stuff from podcasts and YouTube and TikTok, and it's like I would like to get this from the actual show.
yeah, and I'm assuming they're gonna mention this in the show. If they don't,
It's a
that
missed
that
opportunity.
will be a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
There are some retcons here, I think, because in season 4, I believe Vecna says to 11 that she was the first one to bring him into that, darkened, Dimension X or whatever they call it, the dark
Right.
place that she goes into with her tub and all that kind of
But
stuff.
in the play, doesn't he get sent there as a kid?
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that cave is where he gets infected by the mind flayer, which is
Okay.
outside of Hawkins. I think they're
Right.
in Nevada. So I'm having a little bit of problems, I guess, reconciling that type of information.
Well,
He's
at least
14 in the play. He didn't look 14 in season 4, but it's
no,
supposed to
he
be the
didn't.
same year. And he is in a play at school that's run by Joyce.
Uh huh.
It has Bob as the AV guy. His sister is in the play and is Henry's like crush or whatever.
Uh huh.
Hopper's in the play. The Wheelers are in the play. Pretty much every single kid's parent is in the play.
Right.
And this is
you got a Harrington reference in there.
Yes, Steve's dad or something. And I think Eddie's dad is in the play. My biggest problem with this is I feel like franchises do this too much, where if they do a prequel or a sequel of something, it ties too much into the original. And what I mean by that is, you mean to tell me none of these parents moved in as a transplant to Hawkins? They all went to Hawkins? None of these kids' parents ended up moving here as an adult?
It does make a little bit of sense that small towns, people tend to get stuck in small towns. They tend to work there, like factories or something.
It feels kind of like
Harry
Potter and the Cursed Child, where like everybody's kid is there. It's a little too convenient at times.
Yeah, it's forced. I'm with you.
I just feel like so many franchises do that. Where everybody's lived there for their whole life and generations are there.
I feel like the fault that the Duffer brothers are getting into is that they've kind of gone with this as they go.
Yeah.
And I think they've retconned themselves as they've learned what doesn't and does work. And I think anytime you don't have a set plan completely in concrete, you're going to have those problems. I just wish that we got some of that exposition baked into the previous seasons instead of learning about it this way.
Well, I don't think it was in their minds then for some of that. They say they know how they want to end it. I think what that means is the final scene. I don't think they knew everything, because originally it was supposed to be one season, and then Netflix was like, hey, how can you have this be more? And then they had to come up with the slug thing.
Well, originally it was a show called Montauk. It wasn't going to be Stranger Things. And they thought about maybe making it like American Horror Story, where it was the same cast but a different story every season. So, I mean, this show has gone through evolutions the whole way through.
And and I want to say that as somebody that likes to write and do so in his spare time, I like the idea of not committing fully to stuff right off the bat, because it allowed, like, Steve was going to die or something, right? He was going to be like, I much prefer having him alive. So,
we're both writers, so I do get it.
Yeah, his character arc is great. But I think where the writer in me kind of stumbles on this is where I'm like, once you commit to that and it's on film, I feel like you have to stick with it.
Right. You have to come up with a better reason for the retcon, is my thing. You have to earn the retcon. The one thing I will say is that Vecna or Henry being an unreliable source of information tracks. That makes some sense.
It also makes sense that he's not the full big bad. They say in season 4 that he is the head general for the Mind Flayer. That means, and the play kind of backs it up, I guess, because he's infected by the Mind Flayer. So there's still something that was there before him.
Yeah, the Mind Flayer is like a higher power almost.
Right.
It is not quite human. It can take different shapes. Like the Mind Flayer is. And now I'm like, God, I gotta rewatch season 2, because
especially with the reveal at the end here. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about They think Hopper and 11 think Vecna is being controlled there, because 11 hears the same sort of, I guess, sonic thing being controlled in there, so she thinks that it's somebody like her. The only person she's thinking about top of mind is Vecna.
No,
but it's Callie from season 2, number 8.
Look, this is a perfect example of when you have a piece of the puzzle that fits really conveniently. Sometimes you have to flip it around and make sure, because it did make a bit of sense that Vecna would be behind that. But Hopper even says, then how is Holly going missing? That was all this stuff going on. So, I mean, we were kind of poking holes in that theory, and then we were playing a little bit with Hopper and 11 saying she's going on instinct, and Hopper saying she's going on emotion. And Hopper, of course, being the adult and who's been through so much trauma, has a lot more perspective. But I actually really enjoyed the when she throws the beef jerky can at him. Is like, you got anything else?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, look, I packed for one. I packed for me.
Right, right.
Like, like, pardon me for not thinking you were going to come when you weren't supposed to. But
My favorite thing about this and the reveal of Callie being the one back there
mhm.
is what a way to stick it to all the complainers. And this is the
Yep.
opposite problem that I have with the Henry stuff,
Hmm.
in the sense of this is what happens when you do have some of those pieces on the board and you are kind of probably trying to wrap up stuff. You're like, you know what? That's a loose end. Let's bring it back and let's
Yep.
do it. A lot of people thought because of the reaction of that episode that they were just going to ignore it. And kind of like Endgame, bringing back Thor the Dark World, which is a very panned movie, they make it matter. They do the same thing with this
Hmm.
here, where this episode, for some reason, I enjoyed this episode. I understand maybe because it's the one before the finale that made people
Yeah.
upset, but with the pacing issue. But
It was.
I
It
love the
was
lore of the other numbers and meeting
all
her.
right.
And
At the time, it was jarring because it was so different than any episode of Stranger Things.
right, right,
But it was never bad. And now there is a purpose for it, much like you said, good pull with the Thor of the Dark World thing.
yeah,
Because now there is a purpose for it. And now, if you're going to do a rewatch and you're just going to go
you do
through
not
the
skip that
episode,
anymore.
you don't. Actually, it would be an interesting thing to go through and see which episodes you could skip and which ones you couldn't, and like make a guide. That would be
I don't
interesting.
think you can skip any now. I think they're
Uh,
all
the,
important. That
I
was
mean,
the
heck,
one people used to
yeah,
say skip,
right.
because I don't think you can now.
No, yeah,
I never
it's.
did anyway. I never skipped it. But
I don't skip episodes.
me
I
neither.
watch a show. I watch
I
a
watch
show.
it all. Yeah.
And I also don't like the idea of skipping an episode because someone told you to, because then you don't get to develop your own opinion on that
Yep.
show, which is something podcasters would never do, because this is the whole reason we do this. We want to talk
Right.
about the
Right.
material. So I actually think the discourse of Stranger Things on X in particular has been really bad. Like, it has been
Everywhere. I mean, look, and here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. The reviews are
right.
actually good. The rate, and even like the Rotten Tomatoes
Hmm.
audience score is good. It's the IMDb, like the episode 4 is the highest rated of all of the episodes. But there are still those people that, and I want to say they're kind of the people that kept saying that this show is not going to matter because it's been too long, and then it comes
Hmm.
out and is the highest English language watched episode of Netflix, like show of Netflix of all
Yeah,
time.
why are people so invested in it not being good, and then watching it? It's such a bizarre. The internet is odd. I
It's
do
that
want.
thing where like it was a
Yeah,
hit, and then people turn on it. They do it with
yeah.
every single thing in the world,
Well, look at Star
every
Wars. It's a
show.
perfect example.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
also another example of maybe things connecting a little too much.
yeah,
Anakin making 3PO and R2
yeah.
being on Batman's ship.
And
It's
somehow
that
Palpatine
thing.
returns.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But look, I do want to shout out the House of R podcast, because
oh, the
I
Ringer.
was look. Oh yeah, I just found this podcast because I was looking for something to listen to about Stranger Things, and I was getting annoyed at so much of what was out there. And then they had a very elevated conversation for the first 4 episodes. They did it in 2 episodes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I haven't finished their 3 and 4 coverage, but I was very impressed with that podcast. It was fun.
Yeah,
So,
I listened to streaming things today, and
oh, I'll have
did
to
some
put
of that
that
stuff.
on the list.
Yeah,
Is that
they
any good?
yeah, they're good. I mean,
Yeah.
what they do is they listen to they record after each one.
Okay.
So it gives them time to kind of speculate and think on things. So I listened to that today while I was working, and
Yeah, that's
just to kind of
more.
remind myself, since I didn't have time to
Yeah.
watch it all again. I
Well,
was like, okay, that was in that
I
episode. That
usually
was
don't
in that.
listen to podcasts until we record.
Same.
But I
Yeah.
was like, there's a big break in between that Thanksgiving drop and
Yeah.
then that
Yeah.
one night, like where they stayed up to like 5 o'clock in the morning watching this
Yeah.
stuff. Because I was baking that night too. So it was like, yeah, it was a while ago, and there's a lot going on in my life, so I was like, I needed
Yeah.
to refresh. I ended up getting my rewatch today. I watched all 4 episodes today. It was actually quite a nice day, but
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
So also in this, we have the Demogorgon attacking the barn, which, you know, Derek can now see how real this is, and that's when they have Derek infiltrate, go into the where all the kids are being rounded up on the military base. He kind of tells them where the toilets are so they can start digging under the tunnels, and they start sending the kids one by one into the tunnels to escape. They were trying to get all the kids out of the quarantine zone of Hawkins, so it would be like out of the reach of the hive mind. And what my thought is, that's obviously anywhere outside the circle with the wall is probably safe.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense.
That'd be my guess.
That would track. No, that would track. That's a viable theory, a hypothesis I would like to test out.
Yeah.
I think my one complaint there was like the dialogue in the tunnel of something about like, oh, we found the thing hard, well I'll make it soft, and like it was
I thought it was funny.
I was like that was a little cringy for me. But it was so, but I do think the writing and the cheesiness of Stranger Things is overdone, especially because right before that you had a really clever Robin slowing down, bumping into Will, and then having a really insightful comment.
Great conversation.
It was great. So the writing in general, I think, is panned way too much. But that was a moment where I was like, yeah, it didn't land for me.
No, the Robin and Will conversation really great though. You have.
Agreed.
You know, we didn't talk about it, but Will saw her kissing her girlfriend. And obviously we know Will's gay. I don't know how many characters know. I think only Jonathan, or maybe he doesn't even know.
Jonathan definitely.
Jonathan knows, right?
Knows.
I think that was a conversation last season.
I'm pretty sure Jonathan and him have hashed it out a little bit.
Yeah. And, you know, Robin thinks maybe he's going to, you know, talk about this in, I guess, a negative way, because it's not as accepted in the 80s.
He is protecting herself.
Right. And, you know, Will is obviously interested in it because he sees somebody that is like him.
Going through the same problem that he's going through, yeah.
What he's wondering, right? What he's wondering is, because they are kissing, how do you know that they are also gay? Without getting like completely shot down or, you know, whatever. And Robin then sees Will talking to Mike and sees that how Will is reacting to him and thinks, okay, I know what this is now. Yeah. And, you know, she has this great conversation with him about it. And this comes back around just a couple minutes later when Vecna attacks and the Demogorgons attack. And he, you know, I guess, you know, one of the things holding him back not only was that he didn't know how to use his powers, but he wasn't accepting himself. You can kind of see it as a metaphor for being closeted and not, right? And then once he actually kind of awakens to who he is and understands, he is able to then control the Demogorgons. So part of this is that he's always had this in him, just like how he's always been gay.
And the emotional underpinning of right before when you were a kid and the home video kind of thing flashing in your head.
Yes, yeah.
Of the innocence of being a kid and just loving yourself because there was never a reason not to, and you were your most pure self. That got to me a lot. Like, I mean, I feel that that's the universal connection there. I know we were talking about the coming out of the closet thing, which is a completely different thing. But the idea that when you're a kid, you're your most pure self, and you have no reason to doubt yourself, and you have everything you need inside of you. That part of that was emotional for me, because I have always thought that, you know, we shell up as we grow up and we become less of who we are sometimes because of pain. And that was a really touching part of that, I thought.
And how he's always been the sorcerer, and how he, you know, in those D&D games and just in that life, and then, you know, accepting that, and now knowing that, hey, if I can see into their thoughts,
Mhm.
right? This is all the stuff that's going on internally for him as he's thinking about this. If I can see into their thoughts, if I can be into the hive mind, why can't I control it, right? And
Mhm.
he does,
Yeah.
and he gets the cool 11 thing where he's
Mhm.
bleeding and he wipes it away.
Oh, that was such an awesome moment. That
Yeah,
was
it was. I really like
that
that.
that was like I was like my problem was like the credits are rolling. I was like, I need the next episode.
Yeah, yeah.
I was frustrated, but I will say that not only was he claiming who he was and being okay with it, but what he was doing was knowing that he had agency. He had control. He wasn't just accepting it, he was using it as, hey, I can control things a little bit in my life. I don't have to be the sick one. I don't have to be the hurt one, the affected one. I can be the affecter of my own agency. And I that was awesome. The whole thing was incredible. And I feel like Vecna was like trying to make him feel small, and it backfired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess one thing that's also he's probably thinking about is if I can show Vecna what he is capable of, then I should be
Mm,
able to do that, right? Because Vecna's like, you showed me how easy it was to do this, like type of thing.
yeah.
And collecting the kids, he's like, why can't I kind of flip that back onto him and
Hmm.
take out these Demogorgons? He does all three, and kills them, Vecna's them. You know how he did to,
Yeah.
Chrissy and stuff.
It's very well. It is this whole scene though just made me think of Star Wars and the Force, because it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was so Darth Vader in the smoke, the red lightsaber kind of
Mm-hmm.
inspired.
Mm-hmm.
It had that vibe to it completely. And I know I'm far from the only one to have thought that, but that's not an original thought, but it is a obvious one. It was so awesome. I loved that scene so much. I think that's the best scene in Stranger Things history.
Okay. It's probably up there. I can't say off the top of my head, but
I would think the Master of Puppets Eddie Munson thing is up there.
that's probably it for me. I mean, like, I don't
Yeah,
think anything has got me that hyped as that.
especially because the Eddie Munson one was built the entire
Yeah,
season,
yeah. I
and
love
the
that.
music thing was so it would be that, and then the other thing is running up the hill and escaping,
Yeah.
Max escaping. Would be the three things. I actually remember when that episode dropped, me and Ron had a really great like conversation about like what our songs would be to save us,
Mm.
and it was a really memorable conversation with Ron. And
I'm just thinking of what the funniest one I could do. It'd be like "Eat It" by Weird Al or something. That like,
like, would that save you though? You'd just be
it
like,
would. It would.
yeah. So humor and music for you.
Yeah.
Interesting. That that
No,
is
I don't know what
absolutely
my song would be. That's tough because like, just try thinking about
uh,
playing it over top
yeah.
yourself running away from Vecna and stuff. And I don't
So
know.
I'm thinking mine would be "I'm Free at Last" by Masked Intruder. But there's a few songs I could put on that list.
Interesting.
But those would be the three moments, though. Those would be the three moments that I can really hone in on as like the most epic parts of this show.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's talk about how this maybe sets up for the next batch of episodes. Get some theories or who's gonna die predictions. So Christmas Day, chapters 5, 6, and 7 come out. That's called Shock Jock.
Mm-hmm.
Escape from Kamazats. Is that how
Mm-hmm.
you say it? I don't know. And the Bridge. Um, so Kamazats is the from A Wrinkle in Time. One thing I really like about this is that the way that the boys always refer to stuff in D&D terms, because A
Mm-hmm.
Wrinkle in Time means a lot to Holly, she's referring to her stuff as A Wrinkle in Time stuff, like Mr. What's It,
Yeah.
Kamastaz. Like I like that, like
It's
they just
different.
kind of that they have their own differences and that they are referring to stuff based on what they're into at the time that they're experiencing.
Yeah, I feel like we talk a lot about the negative power of labels, but the show is a really great example of what labeling something can do positively. Like Vecna. Vecna isn't like his name. They just are like, oh, that's a D&D thing. Vecna,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Yeah, his
Right?
name's Henry.
And Vecna just goes with it, you know? But I actually find that interesting. Like I feel like um I wonder what Vecna calls himself, but that
I don't even know if does he know they call him Vecna?
like no
I don't even know if they know
I don't
that.
know if it's even come up. That's an interesting conversation, but no, it's the power of labeling things. You make things real. You give yourself some agency and power. There's a downside to labeling, but that's the positive in this show, definitely. And Holly explaining it to Max, and then Max explaining it in a way. I gotta say, I was a little frustrated. I was a little frustrated because this is what, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. So I'm in eighth grade. I'm teaching eighth grade right now, and I cannot get them to summarize a text like that so concisely and perfectly to save my life.
This was the
If
80s. This is before
I
AI and ChatGPT,
no,
so they
dude,
could.
look,
They could.
if I had to save my life, get a student to be able to do that, I can think of maybe 3 students out of the 100 that could do that
Well,
on
that's who
command.
Holly is. Holly is
Look, it's
the
it's
one.
incredible. A teacher approved moment. I was just
Her
like,
brother is Mike Wheeler. Okay,
yeah,
so it runs
yeah.
in their genes, I guess.
It's very literate family. I was very impressed.
I had to look up to see if this was the same girl who played Holly. It was not. I
It's
was like,
not. No,
but
I
with the
feel
gap
bad for the
between
original
seasons,
actress. I feel bad for the original actress. It's
yeah.
very
But I
much
mean,
like
she was
Ant Man's daughter.
a
It's a very
little.
similar situation.
I think it's a little different because in this case, like they cast Holly without knowing she was going to play a big role, and
Right.
if she's not going to be up for it for like these big scenes that she's going to have, then you got to recast.
Right.
But I was
And it's
wondering
also
with the
different
gap,
because they're kids and kids. Like
yeah,
with Ant Man, it's like a teenager and like a very young
right,
adult.
right. With the
Probably a
gap
teenager
between
too.
seasons, I was like, did she
Mhm.
just really grow that much that this is Holly? I had no clue.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I was. And that's the thing with the show, though, is it's not necessarily that the ages throw you off. It's that they are different than the last time you saw them, and it's so different than the last time you saw
Yeah.
them. That's the interesting thing. I mean, if you look at like 11 at the beginning of this, and then you're like Millie Bobby Brown, you're like, how is that? Like
Right.
that's an incredible difference. If you look at like Mike, looks so much like his face looks like so much more like adult, like he probably has to shave now. You're like, what the hell,
Oh yeah,
Lucas?
probably. I
Look,
mean, they would be at school
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
Probably 15. They'd probably be shaving anyway.
yeah. I probably would shave it at 50. Yeah, I was. So that makes sense.
It all depends, right?
Yeah, it's just they're so different than like. I feel like we always see them on their bikes in the first episode of the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing.
Kamazats is a dark planet, which
Mhm.
succumbed to the black thing in A Wrinkle of Time. So
Mm.
that is what Holly is calling the place. I guess the dream world, Kamazats,
Mhm.
right? And chapter 6 is called "Escape from There." So that's probably Max and Holly trying to get out of there, which
Mhm.
maybe wakes them up. And then you have chapter 7 being called The Bridge. Could that be with the wormhole? Because isn't that called like
Yeah,
or it is a bridge between
the worlds
the
upside
worlds
down
and
and
them, or the
uh,
dream world and the real world, right?
there's a
It could
lot.
be
There's a lot
could
of
be a lot of
ways you could
options
do
there.
that. What I'm thinking though is that the bridge um, is not much of a giveaway, but Shock Jock makes me think of the radio tower. Something.
Exactly. I think it has to do with the radio tower or with Robin, who was
Hmm.
the disc jockey. Like it's
Hmm.
it's got to be related to that, or they use that as a
Hmm.
big thing to shock, like as a lightning rod, the tower.
Yeah.
shock jock, right? Like,
Yeah,
and
something
it
to do with
does something with that.
electricity and
Yeah.
yeah.
Another
Red
trap
lightning at the yeah.
for the Demogorgons or something. I don't know.
I mean, they have like a little basement well that you could use, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually really interesting. Um, yeah,
And then
I don't
chapter
think
8, New Year's Eve, called The Right Side Up. This is my favorite name of it all because
yeah
season 1's finale is
was the
called
upside down.
The Upside The Upside Down. And I think ending the show with The Right Side Up, that again makes me think that everything's probably going to end up okay.
They
They're going
can't end this on a bad note.
I think so
like
too. They looked
like
up how most people like finales, and I'll tell you,
uh,
most finales that are popular have a happy ending.
all right. Look, as long as it's not worse than How I Met Your Mother's finale, you're fine.
Yeah,
Um,
the mother's gonna die. Robin and Barney get divorced
just
5
kill
minutes
me.
after
Just
the
just
part
kill
of the
me.
episode.
Just kill me. I literally cannot express in words how frustrating that was.
It was frustrating
But
because I was really liking that finale up until the end because, or like, as soon as
yeah,
they divorce Barney and Robin, because I'm like, you spent a whole season at the
right, a
wedding,
whole season.
and it
So
doesn't mean anything.
so my hot take, I'm not going to go too far into this, but my hot take is if they had a different final season, the finale could have worked,
Yeah.
but it would
Oh yeah.
not land with that final season.
No.
No chance whatsoever. But look, finales are hard. But you know what? We have as a precedent, Stranger Things sticking the landing. When have they not had a great premiere and a great finale?
They usually do.
I'd like the middle episodes. Maybe you're like, I don't know. You have that one episode that people were skipping with 8 and all that stuff.
The
Fine.
finales are always hyped, though. I mean, like
Yeah, they're
I
so
think
good.
the season 3 at the mall
Yeah.
was great. Season 4
hmm
with Eddie and the Upside Down, like all of these season finales are
hmm
usually really great. Are you going to a theater to watch it?
Look, I got to be honest with you. I want to and I don't want to. The I want to is because it's an event and it would be kind of hype and you'd be with fans, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The I don't want to is it's an event and it's hype and there's a lot of people and someone will have a chance to ruin it. I'm not
It's live at the
spending
same time
money
as the
right
finale,
now.
so
Like
I don't know
I'm
if
in a
it would be.
I'm in a not spending money thing
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. So maybe not. If I have an opportunity, it works out, and it doesn't shake me for too much, I might consider it as a fun little gift to myself. I am excited about this finale. Super excited. Also, though, with New Year's, I'm thinking college football.
Hmm.
So you know,
I really want to. I don't know if I'd be able to convince the wife to. She's one of those like, do you really have to go to the movies to see it? Like, when's it go on Netflix? And I'm
or
like,
yeah, that's how my
uh,
so my whole family outside of my mom, because my mom actually just saw Wicked for Good today, and I'm jealous because I still haven't seen it.
I haven't had a
Um,
chance yet
and it's
either.
driving me crazy because I want to see it. I probably will watch it on streaming just because of my schedule. It's like I
Right.
haven't been able to. Like it's funny because for my birthday she gave me a movie gift card. I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to use it on. I still haven't done it, but uh most of my family is just like watching at home. I when I went to the Superman premiere, the Amazon Prime
Yeah, yeah.
screening, that was an incredible event. Now it was incredibly annoying that it was slam packed and people were coming in late. So like my first watch of Superman, the whole 300 years, 30 years, 3 minutes ago thing, I'm just
Yeah.
that whole time I got people walking in front of the screen, and
Okay.
that was annoying. But other than that, it was
Well,
incredible. It was an incredible environment.
I was asking my friend Logan. He said he's probably not going to do it because he'd have to pee. But I was like, hey, I
Yeah.
have a small bladder. I'd have to pee too. But you just go home and watch the rest of it. Like,
Right.
you rewind to the part that you missed or whatever, because it's
Yeah.
on Netflix as soon as you get home.
Look,
So, like, I
look,
think
I
that's
could make it 2.5 hours without peeing. I can do
I
that.
can't.
I'm
I
not
have to
that
go
old.
during 90-minute movies.
I'm old. I'm not that old. Okay. Like,
I've
there
always
is.
been that way.
All right. So this is one of the reasons I love seeing a movie twice, though, because if I've already seen it once, I know, and like perfect example of this. My fourth showing of Superman, I was like, I know exactly what moment I'm going to be. Like I know.
Yeah.
I was
Um,
like, I was like, you know what? Right in between the you like breakfast for dinner thing, I'm gonna
mhm.
go. I've seen that enough that I can not miss any action. Boom, I'm back. I'm like, all right, let's go.
I would love to go see this in theaters. We'll see if I can get out to it. It's New Year's Eve too, so it's
Yeah.
like I'd have to find somebody to watch the baby and all that. And it's people doing stuff that day, so
Uh,
who knows if I can? But I would love
the
to see it.
the only time I've had to go to the bathroom during a movie recently, like and I just couldn't hold it, was Across the Spider-Verse.
Mm,
It was a really compelling part. I was like, I do not want to go, but I was like, I'm gonna die. Like
yeah, if
I
you don't
have
go.
to go. Like it's just like I didn't have a choice. And I came back and I was like, I have a feeling I missed a lot, like in that like 5 minutes. And
Right.
when I watched it like on streaming, I was like, oh, I did. That was an awesome scene.
All right. Any last predictions on who dies or
Look,
how it
I predicted Hopper in 11. If there were, I could just, the problem is I feel like I've always felt like 11 had a chance of dying as she, like, or she gave it all at the end
ends? Yeah.
and completely depleted herself. And like she could die the heroic death. The problem with my prediction, though, is now that Will might have some ability,
They can do
I
it together.
and now that they have eight,
Eight. Yeah, they
like
can
I'm
three-way
starting to
this.
think I'm starting to think that 11 doesn't die. I think Hopper and Jonathan are my highest death count watch.
I probably agree.
And
I
the reason is they are both people who would sacrifice. Jonathan would sacrifice for Nancy and his brother.
mhm.
And and then Hopper would sacrifice for Joyce or 11. And that is why they are the two most likely to die. I don't think they're going to kill Steve because I think it would just leave such a sour note with so many people.
Yeah.
Nobody really likes Jonathan, which is not fair, but like I feel like you could get away with that.
Yeah, I think him with the ring, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. If he's going to
Mm-hmm.
die, then like maybe she finds the ring after, and then like I don't know.
Like I feel like Nancy is the Peter and Steve is the MJ and Jonathan's the Gwen. Like I feel like
Okay,
it's
like so
like
he's gonna get his
so
neck snapped.
he's got yeah, I feel like he's he's actually this show is probably fine.
He gets
But
Vecna. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like he's if anyone's gonna die, it's gonna be him and Steve is gonna be there for Nancy at the end. Um
So here's my thoughts with Hopper. I think I think they want us to think he's gonna die. I'm gonna
I'd be
say
so sad.
I'm gonna say
I'd be
he's
so
not going
sad.
to. I'm gonna go ahead and say he doesn't die, and I think the reason for that for me
Hmm.
is they've teased his death so many times in so many
Yeah,
different seasons that it feels like I won't believe it if he dies.
yeah.
I'll be like, he's gonna come back
No,
because
yeah,
they've
yeah.
done this a million times with him.
100 times, 100 times.
They do it
Look,
this episode when he's about to
they
go in
they
there and blow
do,
himself
they
up.
do. It's Hopper had a moment that killed me where he's like talking to Joyce and he's like, how do you get so much more beautiful every time I see you? And it's like, oh, that line kills me. Like
But
it's
then,
just
yeah,
like
that's kind of
their
thing where maybe
happiness
that's
is
the
so
last
sweet.
time.
And then it's like, so I was like, are they trying? But I was like, are they trying to set up like an emotional stake for Hop, like going down in the upside down? Um, but and then she's like, you didn't answer my question. He's like, you didn't either. And it was like, it's like that's just damn good writing. That
Yeah,
for all the panning that we hear of the writing, that was damn good writing. But I love Hop. He's my favorite character. I'm not. I've always been out in the open about that. I think Hop is just an awesome dude. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
if he
I put
dies, I will.
Jonathan. I put Jonathan on my list,
Uh-huh.
and that's all I have on there. That's all I'm
All right,
locking in.
my
Maybe others
updated
will
list.
die.
Yeah, my updated list is Hop and Jonathan, but I don't want anybody to die. I am a pacifist. I can't kill any of these people off. It would be hard for me.
Yeah, maybe Derek. Maybe Derek dies. We'll see.
Dude, if delightful Derek dies, the internet will never be the same.
All
All of our innocence and humanity will drip away from us.
right. Anything else we want to say before we wrap it up?
Just the funniest moment I think of this whole thing was uh Derek dinner and tell mom to suck one,
Yeah.
and then like Robin, like you can suck a fat one, and Robin's like, what the fuck? Like it was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
funny. Like the delivery was just insane. Great. I just thought I think the comedy of this season has been really on point. Like the moments that have gotten me laughing really gotten me laughing. And I at a point really in my life, I need every laugh I can get. I'll take it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So the levity has been really good in this. And Fernando, that scene with
Oh yeah, that was good.
it was so damn good. It's and then they're under the bath water. It's just like, and you're like holding your breath with them. It was intense. I loved every moment of that scene and the cinematography, the glass wine bottle, and with Karen Wheeler. It's just there was so much that I thought was impressively shot. I
Yeah.
just I think the quality of Stranger Things has gotten maligned and criticized on the internet, and I think it's unfair.
They do it for social media because guess what? They
It
ended up
clicks.
watching
It
it
clicks.
on the day anyway.
Yeah, it
Everybody
clicks.
tuned in.
Everybody tuned in. Look, like we live in the world where everyone is a color grading specialist. So,
Yes, yeah.
we've
Or I
had
saw
this
people
conversation
counting,
before.
the scene where she is doing her trial run. People were counting how many cuts there are. I'm like,
Oh, come
let's not do it.
on. Oh,
Yeah.
come on. Um, we have, by the way, have to have a news episode for DC soon
Yeah,
because
we
there's
should.
a lot going on. I'm hoping we get a certain trailer, a super
Yes.
trailer,
Yes.
to spur that on. But it has been good talking to you again. It has been a while. I know my schedule has not
Yeah.
helped, but yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll be back. Uh, we'll probably have some if there is a trailer for Star Supergirl. I almost said Stargirl. For Supergirl, um, or other DC news over on Soups and Sabers, we will
Mhm.
have a discussion about that. In the meantime, I think we're just going to do a part 2 and 3 conversation after the new year. I doubt I'm gonna have time, and you're not either, between Christmas and New Year's
Mhm.
Eve to record a part 2 reaction to set up the finale. So
Well, actually, what's weird? It's gonna be my most
probably
available
free.
time because it's like the
Yeah,
holiday
true.
break. Like, dude, literally, once January starts, I'm teaching high school every single day.
Oh
So,
wow,
and like middle school, I'm just like in the middle school portion, I'm just teaching a little bit. Like high school, I'm teaching every class all day long,
wow.
all 5 days.
We'll see
So
then. We'll
instead of
see.
2 days, so
How it.
my
Well,
schedule is gonna be absolutely abysmal this January.
yeah,
But
we'll see how it goes with. Maybe we get a part 2 discussion in there before part 3, but if not,
we will get it done. I just don't know when.
yeah. But all of our
Weekends.
social links are in
Yep.
the description below. Make sure you follow us there. Have a great rest of your holiday season if we don't catch you before Christmas, and
Yeah.
we'll catch you then.